Hey everybody, today I'm going to be showing you how to mod your controller. It's pretty much just color modding it, so it's just going to be different colors after you're done. But it actually requires a lot of assembly and I guess disassembly, because you have to take each part individually, because it's impossible to spray paint anything like this without doing that. If you want different colors, here's a top view. Looks pretty cool. I have 4 different colors plus white analog sticks, red buttons, and a couple of white buttons on the top with a little blue. Some of the button, or the L2 and R2 buttons, you can't color code. So first things first, you're going to take off all the screws on the back of your controller. This isn't a standard Sony controller, it's actually a powered A controller, so it's going to obviously be a little different, but it's standard. I've taken apart the other ones too. So just take off all the screws on the back, and when you take off the back case, it should look something like this. First things first, you're going to want to take out your rumble motors, which are the little circular discs with the rubber. They kind of look like tires and they have strings going in. They'll be located in like the elbows, if you will, of the controller, where you rest your palms of your hand. You're going to want to take those out, make sure the cords don't break, and then you're just going to unscrew all the screws on the motherboard, which is the huge green piece. So then once you have that, you're going to want to take that out, make sure it doesn't rip along with the L2 and R2 buttons. Those come out with the motherboard because they're connected. They should have a little button connected to them that slides under the L2, L1 and R1 buttons also. And then the little blue piece can also come out. Sorry, I made this video, or I took these pictures as I was reassembling it, so I don't have any of the just regular black controller. But it actually does help, because you can see the buttons more clearly with the colors. So there is a picture of the motherboard. It's out, it's about, and there's the rumble motors along with the L2 and R2 buttons and the whole board, plus a tan piece. You're going to have to take a couple screws out of that too, but I don't think that's on a Sony controller. So then what you're left with are you already took out the blue and the white, which are the pieces between the R1 and R2, and then the actual R1. Those you already took out, so you're going to take out the little rubber that goes in where the start and select are. Might be plastic for Sony controllers, not sure, it should pop right out. And you just are trying to get everything out except for the base. Also take out the little buttons, the X, the Y, the square, and the circle. When you're done, you should have a picture, or you should have all the parts. Should look something like this. 2 analog sticks, R1, L1, R2, L2, X, Y, X, triangle, circle, square. Should also have your home button and the front and the back case, and your D-pad. That should also come out, but that should just pop out really easily. So once you've taken all that out, you're just going to want to go and spray paint. That's what I used. Spray paint all your stuff. I noticed if you spray paint all the like analog sticks and buttons white, looks pretty cool, as long as you have a darker color for the shell. I actually colored the shell 2 different colors on the front and then 2 different ones on the back. So I used a paper towel to cover up half while I was spray painting. Doesn't really matter. You can obviously do the coloring on your own. That's the fun part. Then you're going to want to reassemble it. Reassembly is pretty easy. Just pop in the the home button, then the rubber piece for the start and select. Then you're going to want to put all the X, triangle, all those buttons back in. You can't actually switch up those buttons. You can't do it because there's little tabs and it doesn't allow you, the shape isn't right to pop back in. I tried it on both of them, it doesn't work. Then next thing is you're going to want to pop in the L1 and R1 buttons. Those should slide right in, but will fall out easily unless you have that blue piece between the L1 and L2, and then the other blue piece between the R1 and R2 buttons. So that blue piece and the white piece, which are the R1 and then the between buttons, and the L1 and the between button, those should all go in nicely, not too difficult. And then what you're going to want to do is, let's see, slide in the D-pad, and then for this type of controller, the Power 8, you're going to want to put the tan thing back over the D-pad, and then screw that in. And then before you screw back in the motherboard, you're going to want to put, maybe there's a little like rubber casing that goes into the buttons so that when the buttons are pushed, it actually senses it. Should look kind of like a curved like T almost. It goes on, it snaps on. Sorry I don't have pictures of all this, I kind of just decided to make this video at the last minute. So then you're going to want to put in your rumble motors and then pop back in your motherboard. You should feel it pop in. And a note with the R2 and L2 buttons, they're kind of hard to get in. There should be slots that they'll slide into, and you'll know when you get them in. They just feel right. So once you have the motherboard back in, you're just going to want to take the screws, put those 2 screws back in. Don't put them too tight that it breaks, just snug, I guess is the right word. And you should be good to go. Now what I would do before you case the whole thing back up is I would plug it in if it's USB, or just turn it on. Don't worry, you won't get electrocuted. But I would put it in and then try out all the buttons and make sure they worked, because I've cased it back up when I first did it and it took me like 3 tries again to get the X and the triangle, the square, and the circle buttons working, just because they weren't getting sensed. The analog sticks can be a little sticky, so I would suggest letting all your parts dry for at least one night or something. And then after this, we just have a little video. This is my completed controller. I hope you enjoy watching. If you have any comments, leave them below. And if you'd like to buy this controller, there's one fault. When you push in the L3 button, it doesn't really push in all the way. So if you're trying to sprint in Call of Duty or something, it probably won't work as well as you want it to. It's possible, but it doesn't work as well. So if you're wanting to buy this controller, I'd be willing to sell it. Just name your price in the description below. And talk to you later. Peace out.